Coffee done in a minute every single time. I've been using the Keurig coffee maker for about 6 months now. I'm fairly new to it. And I can understand why most people like them. They're quick, they're efficient, they're easy. But the reason I'm using it is a little bit more strategic. My name is Kevin, and I am an addict. And my drug of choice is coffee. I've been drinking coffee since my early 20s, but then in my mid-30s, when narcissistic abuse and toxic relationships started to overwhelm my senses, it had a way of draining my natural energy, which made me up my coffee game. I think I got up to about a pot a day. Wow. Obviously, that wreaks all kinds of havoc on your personal health, so I made the decision to ditch my old coffee pot and replace it with the Keurig, which limits my coffee intake to 1 cup a day. Or 2. Now, the Bible is a huge source of my healing from narcissistic abuse and from toxic relationships. And it's not because I come from a background of Christianity, which I do. Because the reality is that Christianity failed me. It let me down in the area of being able to navigate this world of toxicity and narcissism. When I really desperately needed people to talk to and an understanding of how to deal with this evil, the church failed me with the same old love everybody message, just keep loving them, you're not loving them enough, which just tends to add shame onto people who are already hurting because narcissistic people are making them feel as though they're bad people. I was one of those people, and I couldn't understand what I was doing wrong until I realized that it was the way in which the Bible was taught to me. It was the way in which Christianity was given to me. You see, I believe that we have all been given this sugar-coated, fluff-puff version of Jesus as this individual that we should aspire to be, which is in the face of evil, just wrapping our arms around them in a great big hug. And that's not at all what I've discovered the Bible to be about. As a matter of fact, as I open up the Bible, I see nothing but story after story after story of a very toxic world, a very narcissistic world that is plagued with evil. And in the story, God, the Creator, has selected people like you, like me, to navigate this world of narcissism and toxicity. It's story after story of people living in a very hostile and aggressive and evil world. And when we take a moment to look at it this way, we get a lot of valuable insight. Not about loving others, but about perseverance. And that's why I do the Royal We Fellowship every Saturday morning. And I better get ready because we're about to start. I don't care who you are, singing in the shower, you always sound good. What's weird is when I'm teaching out of the Bible, I get into this zone. It's almost as if I check out and I'm not even there. I'm just looking at the scriptures and translating what is being spoken to me. And it's easy to do because I can relate. And today, we're going to talk about how God spoke with Moses and wanted to use him. However, Moses was scared. He was terrified, just like you are, just like I am, especially coming out of narcissistic abuse, especially when we realize how toxic and evil the world is. It becomes very difficult for us to believe that we can be used. Because when I look at the pages of the Bible, I see the pain, I see the suffering, I see the confusion that these people like Moses were going through. We start to ask all kinds of questions. Who are we? Who's going to listen? And after all, when you are in an abusive relationship with a toxic person, dealing with narcissists, they kind of hammer you with this "you're nothing" type of attitude. Do they not? Moses dealt with the same thing. Moses entered into a place in his life where he was full of shame. He was full of confusion. He didn't know who he was. He didn't know what his qualities in life were. Moses is an example of an everyday person. Moses is an example of you, an example of me. Moses is an individual who had been rejected by the Egyptian people. He wasn't the Disney version of the Prince of Egypt. Moses was born a Hebrew according to the story. The Egyptian people all probably came around him with one eyebrow slanted up, like, dude, you're not one of us. Not only was Moses not like one of them, but he also wasn't a Hebrew person because he was raised by Egyptians. Talk about feeling lost, feeling like a loner. Moses had no belonging. And when he answered the call of the fire that was in his heart, which was projected onto the burning bush, he had all kinds of questions, just like you do, just like I do. We're going to talk about that. Before we get into it, let's go ahead and open up in prayer.